Go to a few future-facing blogs, take some screen grabs, read someone's blog about the best of South by Southwest or CES, and just go, hey, the future's look, it's really scary. It takes no brain power whatsoever. It's really easy. Do not pay anyone to do that. And so I just found after doing a year of doing a podcast, it's dead easy to talk about innovation, but actually making it happen. And it's been really interesting to hear some of the talks today about the way that businesses are getting ready to actually do innovation. I read an article yesterday that says, great ideas are everywhere, but a great implementation is hardly anywhere. And I think that is the real challenge for innovation. That's what I try and do with our brands, is I try to steer away from inspiration presentations and start to actually work on how I can get our brands to actually innovate with their marketing. And there's the slides.
And now we're ready.
Right, okay. What's that? Oh, don't worry about that. I'll work it out when we get there. This is a bit fancy, isn't it? Right, okay, so has anyone heard of Real Social? Right, okay, so I'm not going to sell the agency, but we are a social media agency, and we help global brands like Google, Adidas, LinkedIn, Audi, Toyota, and so on how to manage their profiles in social. But we don't see ourselves as a platforms agency. We're not specialists in Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. We look at fundamentally this, which is a nice format, guys. It's understanding people's social behaviour, not what they just do in social media, but what they do socially. So how do they interact on and off platforms, and that becomes the kind of foundation for our creative ideas for these kind of brands. So just to kick off a little quiz. Steve Jobs said about this new bit of technology, he said, it will be as big a deal as the PC. Any ideas? What was that, the iPad? iPhone, it's great. Anyone else? iPods, anyone else? Anything? No! It was a Segway! And so Steve Jobs probably had a bigger research budget than me. He probably had way cleverer people than me, hundreds of them, and yet he was still so unbelievably wrong about the Segway. And I'm just going back up my point before, really, that Tinder, Snapchat, and Pokemon Go. Did any of you predict any of these things? No. Did I? No. Did anyone else I know? No. The only three people who did were the three people that did that, right? Predicting the future, trend watching, pitching in front of the future is just largely guesswork. Let's call it what it is, it's guesswork. So I think that, as I said before, it's easy to write innovation presentations, to talk about the future, but it's much harder to actually make it happen. So the way that I approach it is I try and look at the writing on the wall. What is definitely going to happen in terms of technology? What is definitely going to happen in terms of social and political changes? What will be the things that are going to change? What are the things that aren't going to change? And I break down the future for brands into kind of these three things, which is here and now, around the corner, and in the distance. So I'm just going to go through an example of each of these. I'll tell you the things I think you should be focusing on today, stuff that will happen 6 to 12 months' time, and then some stuff that may happen in the future, but at least you can say you heard it here first. So hands up, has anyone either developed a chatbot or experienced a chatbot in the last few weeks or months? Does anyone know what they are? Hands up if you don't know what a chatbot is. Oh, right, okay, so we'll take you through that. So a chatbot is something that's getting a lot of bad press at the minute. Facebook last year at the F8 Developer Conference allowed brands to develop conversational bots that on their platform that are automated. So it allows you to have a conversation with a brand through a conversation. And there's been a lot of hype about this, but there's also a lot of people saying that these interactions with brands are great. And this is kind of part of the reason why. So these are two launch chatbots on the Facebook platform. So on the left-hand side is a weather bot that said, what's the weather like this weekend? And the bot would say, are you on a boat? Because I can't find any results near you. So the user said, what's the weather like in Brooklyn? And then the bot says, oh, it's 46 Fahrenheit. And then the user says, this weekend. The bot says, what? Then the user gets annoyed and says, weekend. And then the bot says, sorry, I dozed off for a second. Not a great user experience. And then similarly for CNN, just when I tried to unsubscribe from this bot, it just got this sort of patronising emoticon. Doesn't really understand what the user says. So there's a big gulf between what the user wants and what the user is getting from brands. And that's principally because the user has a far higher expectation of the artificial intelligence in these bots than they're actually delivering. So around this time, we also launched a chatbot for Domino's. And this was a very successful chatbot, and it was the first e-commerce chatbot in the UK for any brands. And I just want to talk to you through 3 steps on how to make a good chatbot if you are considering it for your brand. So the first step is create a character. So the big mistake people make with chatbots is they see it as a technical solution. Someone in IT or the creative tech team will say, we can build a chatbot, and that department builds it. But actually, it's much more about the copy. The chatbot, although there is a technical element to it, I would say it's like 95% the copy and 5% the actual the tech itself. So for Domino's, we knew that we wanted to make a Domino's chatbot, but it couldn't be from the brand. Because if you think about your Facebook Messenger app in your phone, if you open it now, you don't have to, you're going to see messages from your partner, your friends, your close colleagues. That is an incredibly personal space. And if you've got a brand in there, say anything, it's going to feel weird. It's like you're marketing in a very personal space. So what we did was create a character called Dom. He's like Domino's, but he's not exactly the same. And we realised that he had kind of 2 functions in life. On the right-hand side, our right-hand side is this kind of goofy, Jack the Lad, funny, lulzy, wordplay, bantering guy. But on the other hand, he had to deal with actual orders. So this is a chatbot where you can actually order a pizza. So you don't want someone who's taking your credit card details to be arsing around with you, essentially. So we knew that his tone of voice kind of had to change depending on what part of the sales process you're in. And so we think, right, okay, so if someone's going to order a pizza, well, how is that going to actually work as a conversation? So Domino's have a product called Easy Order. I don't know if you have it in this market, but essentially Easy Order is where you go to the website and you set up your favourite pizza order, your favourite credit card, and your favourite address. And if you press the Easy Order button anywhere, that pizza just magically arrives at your house. So that can be on a smartwatch, on an app, on the website, you can tweet an emoji. So we wanted to do the same thing in Facebook Messenger. So here's just a quick run through of how it works. So super simple, but it really kind of transforms the way that they track ROI from their investment in social. Because you can get a Facebook ad unit now that drives directly from the Facebook newsfeed to Facebook Messenger, where you can give the customer information and actually transact with an actual purchase and then measure that. So the money you put in at one end of Facebook and the newsfeed, you actually measure that as a direct ROI for the business. But this bit I'm most proud of is that all of you know who've done any digital at any point will know that the internet will try and beat you. No matter what your brand does, if it's a competition, if it's a game, website, if it's an app, they will try and ruin it because that's just the nature of the internet. We'd love it if it wasn't the same that it is. So we knew that people would try and break down the pizza bot. Right? We knew that they would take the piss out of him, they would swear at him, they would try and make him look foolish. But we had no idea that Comedy Central would try and do this. So this what follows is a conversation between Dom and his comedy writer. So basically at the start of the journey, Dom will say, I'm just a pizza robot, I can help you order pizza, and I can help you with information around the pizza, but that's it. If you type stuff to me, I ain't going to understand you. So you manage expectations of the user up front. So the first thing that Comedy Central said on the right was, hi Dom, how are you? And Dom said, you starting, you want to pizza me? Always try to push towards an order. And then it says, can you only speak in pizza puns? Sorry, what? I don't get it. Clearly there's much room for improvement. That's what I'm on, thank you. How did you vote in the EU referendum, Dom? Does not compute, malfunction, lol. Did the copywriter create all of this dialogue with this incredibly laboured comedy features in mind? Time is money, stop messing me around. I need to make enough bitcoins to send my kids to chapels. It's very highbrow work we do. And they said very funny, 10 out of 10. We were getting, we always will have this fantasy as marketing people that our work will somehow affect popular culture and exist outside of just our industry and our target audience. But to have Comedy Central give it such a boost, and it really kind of fueled the fire of the amazing press we got. But it drove business. So the easy order segment of Domino's customers are very small, but 50% of that audience placed an order. I mean, where do you see that kind of conversion from email? Or a banner ad or whatever? It's just crazy. So we're now working to kind of expand that with Domino's. So that's chatbots, relatively straightforward thing to do, and that's what you should be doing right now. They're dead easy to make. Don't let anyone pretend that they're fancy or complicated. It's technically very easy to make. In terms of the copy, very difficult, but at least I think you should be experimenting with that. So in terms of tech that's just kind of around the corner, does anyone own an Amazon Echo here? Snapchat spectacles? One down here, brilliant. Okay, so these are two areas of technology that we've been experimenting in, and kind of part of my gig as innovation director is to sort of look 6 to 12 months in the future and start to experiment with these technologies so that we can share them with our brands nearer the time. And the first one we looked at was kind of voice tech, massive rise in the amount of devices. And November last year, we launched a skill on the Amazon Echo for Real Social. So if you said, Alexa, give me the social headline of the day, and it would give you the most pertinent social headline of the day. Turned it around in a couple of days and got it live. But Google Home is launching, I think, in the UK in the next week. So once again, we wanted to experiment with that. So one of the things we do at the agency is something called a social scramble, where we get a new bit of tech, spend a day coming up with an idea, spend the next day developing that idea, and then finally kind of spinning it and selling it. So we decided to make a Google Home service that helped people on Valentine's Day. So I don't know if you've ever been in this situation, but have you ever said to your partner, what do you want to do on Valentine's Day? And they say, nothing special. So you plan nothing special, and that's not in fact what they wanted. So we developed a skill where you could ask Google Home what your partner really meant. So this is just a rough demo.
Good countdown. Okay, Google, can I speak to the defibrillator?
Sure, here's the defibrillator. Hi there. I can help you translate what your partner is really saying. Let's get started. What have they told you they want to do on Valentine's Day?
Well, she said I should cook her a meal for Valentine's Day.
Nobody wants your romantic pasta bag. Would you like me to book a table at Caminada's at 8?
Well, she said I don't have to get her anything.
Would you like me to find the best sleeping bags and camping beds? How long do you think you'll be sleeping outside for?
Well, she doesn't want me to spend too much. Can I buy jewellery for under £10?
10 pounds jewelry comes with tears, sadness, anger, and a night on the couch. Did you need jewelry for over 100 pounds?
Well, he says he likes my rustic steak and kidney pie.
No one likes kidneys. No one. Shall I look for some romantic edible food recipes?
Yes.
So that's something we came up with the idea, turned it around a day, and then kind of got it out there. That really allows us to go to our clients, and we then not that agency who's pointing to a slide with Google Home and going, look, this is really cool, this is the future. And we actually show them that we can actually build with that device and think creatively with it. So that's Google Home. And the next up is heads-up visual displays. There's Google Glass, Snapchat Specs, Microsoft HoloLens. And we got our hands on some Snapchat spectacles back in December and thought, right, well, what can we do creatively with these things? And what we realised was that a lot of people don't know what Snapchat spectacles look like. And the great thing is when they're recording, all there is like this light on the right-hand side. It's not like a red light saying recording, it's not obvious. And we thought we could have some real fun with this. We're based in Moorgate, which is just next, well, just part of the financial district. So we came up with an idea that we would follow people around wearing Snapchat spectacles, asking them if they just dropped money to see how honest they were. So this is the little case study that we did around that.
floor. You're doing the floor, you sure? Oh, okay. I'll go round here. You don't think it is? No? Oh, okay. Fine. Okay. No? Don't go out. Oh, fine. Yeah, follow him around. I assume it's yours anyway. Yeah. Oh, a moment to go. Okay. Thanks, man. It's okay, not at all.
So it's this kind of experimentation that has allowed us to demonstrate to Adidas how this kind of technology works, and now they're using the Snapchat Spectacles to film first-person kind of documentary stuff with footballers. So whether that's actually literally them dribbling the ball around the pitch, or what goes on in the dressing room. So what we do is we find a bit of technology in the future, we do a scramble, experiment with it, do something fun, and then use that to articulate the clients and what the power of that bit of technology is. So I'd say things like Snapchat Spectacles and voice text stuff like Google Home and Amazon Echo are certainly something that's going to become much more prevalent. And then finally, I was lucky enough to go to South by Southwest a few weeks ago, and I saw a demonstration by a company called Soul Machines. And it's won by a guy that has won, I think it's 2 Oscars for Kong and for Avatar. And his view is that we're making huge advances with artificial intelligence, but it's very difficult for us to communicate with that intelligence, because that intelligence doesn't communicate in the same way that we communicate with each other. So if they truly want artificial intelligence to become human-like, it needs to learn in a human way. And 90% of all of our communication and learning happens face-to-face. There's so much information that we carry as a species happens from looking at one face to another. Obviously, you know that within a small child and a parent. So what this guy has done is built this 3D model of a face, including the hair follicles, the skin, the eyes, the lips, but also has built the musculature under the skin, and has also built the skull under the skin. But even more impressively, has built a neurological map of the mind inside the head of this artificial intelligence. So he can control what happens inside the brain of this AI, so that that AI responds to that facially. But the AI can also respond to what your face is doing. So it can track you emotionally. If you look angry or upset or disinterested or sad, the computer will respond as if it were like a human being. So I've got a demo to play here. This is going to... I might just jump up. So what you... So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a live demo of how...
It was interesting seeing how Elon Musk is the guy who's just overtaken Ford with his cars, has launched a neural network company which is supposed to be about building, again linking AIs to humans, and that's his vision as well. And so far he's been quite good at coming up with stuff, so it's definitely something that lots of people are chasing, presumably similar ideas to this guy.
That's a really nice story, appreciate it. Okay, so... Okay, so what you... Oh, can we pop that back on there?
Good morning.
Hi there, I'm Rachel.
No, I need the browser open. So while they're sorting out, I'll kind of describe what is happening. You will see an avatar's face, and that avatar will respond emotionally to the. Actually, tell you what should we do? Should we do something smart? Right, you guys at the back might not be able to see this very well, but let's just go. Can you sort of see that? Okay. Yeah. You sort of see this. Right. So what you got here is. What this avatar can see. So this is like the avatar looking out, and up here you've got what's going on kind of in the neurological systems of this avatar. So I'll just play it and see if we can get this across.
Sure.
Hi, Rachel. I'm Shantanu. How's it going?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm really excited to be here. This is my first time in New York City.
Really? Where are you from?
Have you ever heard of a place called the Internet?
Yeah, I guess I've spent some time there.
Well, I've lived there all my life. I'm a creation of soul machines. I can see you and hear you. And what makes me different is that I can respond to your emotions. I guess you could say I'm putting a human face on artificial intelligence.
Wow. So what brings you here?
I am working with IBM Watson to deliver knowledge across a vast range of topics. My current interest is helping people find the best credit card for them.
Really?
Oh, what an angel. Right, so yes, it's weird. Yes, it looks a bit funny. Yes, it's very clunky. Yes, it's obviously a computer. I'm really going to get this back on full screen. Right, yeah, got it. Cool. Alright, so yes, it's weird. Yes, it feels a bit funny. Yes, it's a computer. But you need to extrapolate out from here. Right? Where will this be in 3 years? Where will this be in 5 years' time? So, kind of to finish off, why is it important for brands? So, the first computer, Charles Babbage, he's got a system of pulleys and cards. It was very clunky. Only really he knew how to use it. Then the next computer was a kind of room full of different computers and transistors and circuit boards. You need to have a computer science degree to run it. Then there was the development of MS-DOS, which means you could type on a keyboard and control a computer. Then came a GUI system, graphical user interface, where you could use a mouse to click on icons to run programs. Then after that was the touchscreen. Then after that was kind of gesture-based stuff, where you could control the computer just using your body. Then with a Google Glass, Amazon Echo, and then sort of resurgence of heads-up systems like Snapchat Spectacles. So why is this important? And this is the kind of the thing I really want you to go away and think about, is that you've got this kind of hyper-realistic 3D avatar that can respond emotionally to a consumer. That's a long way off. There's really only one of these in the world. But if you think about what we're doing with Snapchat Spectacles, what we're doing with Google Glass, what we're doing with Microsoft HoloLens, it's working out how our eyes can interact with computers. And then with voice tech like Echo and Google Home, we understand how we can speak to computers. And finally, as I said at the start, chatbots are helping us understand how the kind of words and kind of phrasing we would use when we talk to a brand using a kind of text-based interface like a chatbot. So my view is that all of these technologies will converge into brands as avatars. So in the future, when you go to adidas.com, you'll get a drop-down menu with shoes for men, women, sports, badminton, whatever it is. You'll have an avatar, and that avatar will say, "Hi, I'm Marie, how are you? Did you watch the game at the weekend?" "Yeah, I was okay, cool. Well, you know, what are you after today?" You go, "Oh, I'm looking for a pair of trainers for my partner." "Oh, right, what are they into?" "Oh, they're into squash and running." That avatar will have a conversation with you, and it will be able to understand you with emotional intelligence and provide products and services and experiences in the same way that a human would. So as a child, we have to learn a language, English or whatever it is, to communicate with other people. But in the future, we won't need to learn the language of typing or using a mouse or a code, because the way we will interact with computers will be through the most natural interfaces, which is the human face. So just to wrap up, here and now, chatbots, you should be experimenting with that at least. Around the corner, voice tech, Amazon Echo, Google Home. And finally, Is your brand making those tentative exploratory steps to see how that brand might be represented by an avatar in kind of 3 to 5 years' time? And that is it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.